Hutchinson. Well, we're going to talk politics this morning. Of course, we talk politics just about every morning that we're on the air on the Hutchinson Report, but it has special significance in light of what we have seen the last week. Of course, we're talking about the midterm elections and our good friends, the GOP. They made a lot of inroads in a lot of different places, not just in Congress, but also a lot of the state legislatures and governorships, too.
Republicans taking control of the U.S. Senate in a midterm election rout. How bad a night was this for Democrats?
It was really bad. I think it was, when you take a look at the election results in 2010 and this year, this was a wave, a Republican wave that hit the Democrats and the president hard. And every race that was broke at the end broke in the Republicans' favor. And I think this president, when you add up the numbers, will have suffered, for a two-term president, the worst midterm losses of any president in the last 50 years.
Obviously, Republicans had a good night, and they deserve credit for running good campaigns. Beyond that, I'll leave it to all of you and the professional pundits to pick through yesterday's results.
I think we know who many of the players are, certainly in Congress, governorships, state legislatures, and what does that mean? Specifically today, I want to zero in on California. My special guest in studio, and it's always a pleasure, and he's no stranger, by the way, to the Hutchinson Report, Senator Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Dr. Hutchinson. Honored to be here.
Congressman, you are going into a House now where Democrats, to say the least, have had fewer representation since, I don't know when. I mean, I've seen some figures going back almost 30 years. The lowest number of Democrats in the Democratic delegation in the House. You're part of that now. Some might even say it's not only challenging, but perhaps even a hostile environment. First of all, as a freshman congressman, what are maybe one, two, maybe even three of your top priorities and initiatives that you're going to be pushing, Congressman-elect Lieu?
I really need to keep our economy growing, and that's going to be one of my top priorities. I also believe we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform. That has already passed the Senate. It is now in the House of Representatives, and I'm going to work on that every day to make sure we can get that passed. Not only would that be a boon to our economy, but I believe it's also just a humane thing to do.
Are you optimistic, Congressman, about bipartisanship? I know it's a word that sometimes is, at least in some ways, almost a dirty word on some side. But, you know, to get things done, we've got to work together. Even the president said that.
Congress will pass some bills I cannot sign. I'm pretty sure I'll take some actions that some in Congress will not like. That's natural. That's how our democracy works. But we can surely find ways to work together on issues where there's broad agreement among the American people.
But there are issues where we can have agreement. I believe one is transportation and infrastructure funding. Another is protecting our privacy. I do believe that the National Security Agency has been violating our Fourth Amendment rights for years. They've seized every American's phone records. They know who you called, who called you, the duration of those calls, and when they were made. And to me, that's just a violation of the Constitution. So there's a bipartisan effort right now with Democrats and Republicans to rein in the National Security Agency, and I plan to work on that effort as well.
Is there any worry in the Democratic camp, Congressman Lieu, that now you've got a more clever and sophisticated GOP, plus their ground operation too, borrowed a big pace from, you know, the Obama ground operation? What does that mean for the future in terms of, you know, getting back again on track with Democrats in Congress and taking the high ground in the Senate and, of course, in local races?
But keep in mind that in terms of values, the rest of America is closer to Democrats. If you look at what happened in November, in the 5 states that had minimum wage increases on the ballot, including red states, they all passed. And that's a core Democratic priority. And I support the minimum wage increase that Obama has proposed to $10.10 at the federal level. In California, I voted for the minimum wage increase to go to $9 this year and $10 next year. And so part of it is messaging and letting people know these core democratic values, but also just having people vote.